Yeah.
This is the Bottom Line Sports Show with Gerald Brown and Rick Mahorn.
Imagine you trade a Chet Holmgren for a Giannis Antetokounmpo.
These guys are athletic as you know what, and you go like, oh my gosh, where's the fundamentals? Where's the pass first mentality? That's not in the league anymore.
And now here's your host, Gerald Brown and Rick Mahorn.
Brown, the legendary Rick Mahorn, he's at an event, so he cleaned up for you. I just want you to know he cleaned up for you.
He's sharp. He's real sharp right there. I can tell you
Hey,
that.
I don't want to hear that from no old football player.
Ephraim, man, hey, appreciate you joining us, and you know what? Definitely wanted to get you on and get your thoughts on this, man. The big story is Mike Tomlin steps down after 19 years.
Woo.
After that whooping last night by the other night by
was it a whooping? Was it a whooping?
Yeah, that was a whooping.
Yeah, it was
Later on, it was a whooping. It was a tight game for a little while. But come on, E. Don't be coming there with that. It was a tight game and it was a butt whooping. It ain't no butt whooping until later on.
Ask Aaron Rodgers if he felt like his butt was whooped because he was under siege.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was under siege. Like
it showed how old he was.
He was in trouble. But that's what happens when you're going up against the number one defense in the league, right? Especially against the pass, the number one rushing defense in the league in terms of putting pressure on quarterbacks. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get an older, immobile quarterback who's trying to get the ball off fast, and it wasn't there. Those throwing lanes weren't there because those young boys were eating up front. And the fact that Houston can get to him with just 4, so that means you got 7 dropped in coverage. It's literally nowhere to go with the ball after that big drop in the first half by DK. It kind of Aaron is prickly. He won't forget. Like he'll hold a grudge, and you see he really didn't go back to DK that much after that. So that combination. It ended up being a butt whooping, Rick. That's just what it was.
No, it wasn't a butt. It was an ass whooping. That's all you had to say. I'll say it for you. But here's a question for you. Knowing that you have these wild card games and knowing how important it is to win the next move, do you think can Houston keep that same intensity for the next game?
I think so because C.J. Stroud can't play any worse. So when you come out of a game like that, and on one side of the ball or the other, especially at the quarterback position, I mean, it was almost like he was point shaving. I looked at my wife, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, bro, it's tripping right now. I mean, he couldn't get the snap. He recovered the snap, then fumbled it again, throwing the interception. That red zone interception was uncalled for. He could have ran for the first down. It was 2 yards.
Yeah.
He could have ran for the first down. And so when you see a quarterback of his talent play that poorly and they still win in the manner that they won, that makes him a dangerous team because odds are he's not going to repeat that level of ineptness moving forward in the next game. So now if they can combine that punch, I mean they scored twice on defense, right? So if now you can score twice on offense and keep that same level of pressure on defense, then they got a real shot. They got a real shot.
Yeah. Ephraim, I asked you this, how surprised were you the fact is that Mike Tomlin made this decision so quick? And again, obviously there's an emotion that fans feel it, after the season over and in football and basketball, but mostly football, because it's like that knee-jerk reaction. We got to make a change. How surprised were you that he made this move so quickly?
I'm not surprised. I think whenever you start hearing stories come out, and Rick can attest to this, being somebody in the locker room and part of an organization, once you start hearing like stories come out, whether they're true or not, there's always smoke, right? There's always smoke first where there's fire. And so if they didn't make the playoffs, then we knew this was almost a certainty for sure going to be a possibility. One game, like they weren't trying to make the playoff. They were trying to win a playoff game. That was the goal. They brought Aaron Rodgers in to win a playoff game. And because they weren't able to do that with Aaron Rodgers, it became the same old, same old. So this is 8, 9 years of them losing in the first round, not being able to win a playoff game, and the rumblings of the season earlier about does he step away? And now look, they did it the right way. They are not going to up and come out and fire Mike Tomlin. They're not going to do that. They're not that type of organization. They've only had 3 coaches. No one's ever been fired. So it was kind of like, look, we want to go in another direction. We respect you too much to come out and fire you. And so it was a mutual agreement, and I'm sure that was in place before this game.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you on that one because they gave him the option. Because when you have, but when I look at it, Tomlin's still got a lot of coaching left in him. I look at look at all these opportunities that's going to be coming about, especially after Black Monday. The Raiders are looking for a new coach. I mean, it just compiles in this NFL or in pro sports that it's always the next job and the next option.
Go ahead, Ephraim. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what they don't want to happen, what the Steelers don't want to happen is Mike Tomlin go over there to the Ravens and have Lamar Jackson, right?
That's what I just said, the Raiders, right?
And you go over to and get Lamar Jackson at the Ravens and able to now not only be in the same division, right, of the team that you just spent 18 years beating. Now you have a legitimate MVP caliber quarterback, and then you can build that up. I mean, it's interesting. The landscape, this coaching landscape, is going to be very interesting when it all shakes out because there's several good jobs out there. Now, what they're going to do with the quarterback position, I'm not sure. There's a lot of things that have to happen this offseason for the Steelers to feel comfortable with moving forward. Is this a true rebuild year, or do you package some of your 3rd-round draft picks and your 4th-round draft picks to move up from around 20th or so in the draft all the way up to the top 10 so you can get a quarterback of the future? A lot of those things are going to have to transpire within the next month or so.
It's really interesting because you think about it, man. His success was predicated on the quarterback play. Obviously, if you don't have a solid quarterback, look, they haven't been able to replace Ben Roethlisberger. And you're talking about a guy that has different guys coming in there. Mason Rudolph at one time. They tried Russell Wilson. That didn't work out. Rick mentioned the Raiders. You thought it was the Ravens. I'm saying this, Ephraim. That's my team that I think, if anything, you open up the checkbook and you say Mike Tomlin, you pick who you want to be the GM, which is John Spytek, who has the relationship with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, I would love to have him there with us, but no, we got Todd Bowles there. We're not gonna X another brother out to take another brother. But you put him in Las Vegas. If John Harbaugh is gonna get 20, maybe he gets $25 million a year, and you have instant legitimacy with the Raiders with the organization with Mike Tomlin. You draft a quarterback, that defense steps up. It will bring Raider Nation back. Is that the fit is that the team that must get a guy like Mike Tomlin?
Well, yeah, I think so. And they got the number 1 pick in the draft. So you always want to start with, if you're going to bring a young quarterback and have them be the face of the franchise from the beginning, then you do need some stability, right? It's hard to bring a coach in and a young quarterback in. Houston has done it with DeMeco Ryans. When DeMeco Ryans was a rookie head coach, they had a tremendous draft. They got C.J. Stroud and they got Will Anderson in that draft, which has made them 3 years in a row. They've been able to win playoff games 3 years in a row, which is a franchise record for them. So if Oakland was serious about changing this thing over immediately, then yes,
Las Vegas.
I would take excuse me,
Las Vegas.
I would say that would be your quarterback, and you'll be able to to get your coach for the next 10, 12 years, as long as Mike wants to do it.
Yeah.
My question to you, E, what
You
quarterback's
guys
out
got
there
me?
that you think? Yeah, I hear you. So you paid your internet bill, but here's the thing: what quarterback is that number one pick?
It's got to be Mendoza from Indiana. I mean, this kid is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but look at the gauntlet he's gone through with Ohio State, Alabama. What Kurt Signetti has done at Indiana has been amazing. But it starts with the quarterback. When you watch him, he can make every throw. He can make every throw. He's mobile. He's intelligent. So you want to bring someone in like that who's played a high level of football. They've taken the team that was the worst team in Division I football history and made them a powerhouse in 2 years. I bet on
But
that kid to come in and be able to right the ship.
hey, that's that money. That's that NIL money. Don't even get it started. Don't get me
But
started. Because
everybody playing with everybody. Look, nobody got more NIL money than Oregon.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
that's
that.
that.
Phil Knight came out and said it's a blank check. You can pay whatever you want to pay. Nobody
Hey,
has
but
more NIL money than Texas A&M and Texas and that oil money. So no,
mm,
it's more about the character and the caliber of players. Like you can go out and spend all the money you want on 5-star recruits. Nobody on Indiana is a
mm-hmm.
5-star recruit. And so when they do have money,
Well,
but when
when
they're
you
spending their money on
well,
character guys that they built into what they are now, and that makes a difference.
I like that. I like that. And do you see this coach taking the next step up into the professional ranks? You never know if they
I,
win a
I
championship.
Bro, look, if I were the Giants, I would be trying to throw everything I could at Kurt Signetti. I think he's staying
Hmm.
at Indiana. I think he loves what he's doing. They've already started recruiting. They've already been in the transfer portal. They've already started building on next year. Um, and I think he really likes what he's done with this organization. Like he's my favorite coach in college football because
Hmm.
he wears it on his sleeve, right? That Google me, that whole thing, like
Hmm.
right. He speaks the language of this younger generation now. They're very brass, they're very in your face, and this is what we're doing. He's unapologetic, but what happens is his team plays that way. They've taken
Hmm.
on his personality on the football field. They don't do a lot of trash talking off the field, but when you get on that field, they will hit you underneath your chin and have you rethinking what you're doing out there.
Yeah. When you speak about Signetti, the job that Indiana has done, I think college football and the commissioners and the playoff system, they struck gold because you got a
Oh,
championship game that I think everybody's going to watch because we don't have a Big Ten versus Big Ten matchup, nor an SEC team versus another SEC team. You got an ACC team, Miami, that's at home, that came out of nowhere, and you have this Indiana team, like you mentioned, that essentially he's changed a basketball school into a football school. Who do you
hard to
like
do.
in that matchup? And how do you like that matchup? And your thoughts overall on the fact is they struck gold with this championship, and who do you have winning it all?
Like they most definitely have struck gold. And when you look at Miami's defense and what they've been able to do all year, I mean, it's been unbelievable. They have a pro level defense. But what I will say is when you watch Indiana play, they're great on both sides of the ball. They're great on special teams. They're the least
Hmm.
penalized team in all of NCAA football. They don't beat themselves. They don't get behind the chains. And that's a hard team to beat. When you can run the ball proficiently, you can pass the ball, and you're in short yardage situations on second and short, second and medium, third and short, third and medium. It's hard to get that team off the field. So if you're asking me, who do I think have the upper hand in this? I think definitely Indiana because look, Carson Beck has been in the league for I mean it feels like this is 7 years. Okay, he's played in more national championship games than any other quarterback in NCAA history. I think he's almost 40 at this point. Uh, and he can be a bit sporadic in these big games. That's why he's no longer in Georgia and he's moved around. So I would definitely lean towards what Kirk and the Hoosiers have put together. They are the most complete team that I've seen in college football this year.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to the pro side. Who you think gonna win the Super Bowl?
Oh
But you
man,
got,
who gonna
wait a
get
minute,
to
hold
the
on a
Super Bowl?
second. Hold on a second,
Hey,
Ephraim.
shut up, Gerald.
You shut up. You got to go
No,
back.
you shut
Yeah,
up.
what's wrong with you? Now you don't put on your nice little church suit on and stuff like that and get all
Oh, there
crazy.
you go. Just
There
because you
you
got on
go.
that tight T-shirt from
I can
Tampa Bay
stand
on,
this, fucker.
it's like they say, gone fishing. That's where they gone fishing in Tampa. You
We gotta ask.
turncoat.
We gotta ask about the teams that are playing upcoming. You don't sit up there and jump right to the Super Bowl. Ephraim, who do you like in terms of when you look
Hey, wait a minute.
around?
Hold on.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Don't
Go
be
ahead.
so. Be
Go
kind.
ahead.
Be kind. Don't be
I'm being kind.
disrespectful.
I'm being kind. I'm sorry, Ephraim. I guess. I'm sorry.
No, apologize to me. I'm about to go
sorry.
get a drink. I don't know what you about to do.
Oh man, that's funny. That is funny.
Who do you like in terms of these playoffs that's still around, and who do you think is the most dangerous team that's still left in the playoffs?
Oh,
Look,
so you just reworded what I just asked him? You get to the point.
look, we still got to see what Seattle Seahawks bring to the table. Okay, we haven't seen them play yet. They had the number 1 seed. We still have to see what the Denver Broncos bring to the table. We haven't seen them yet. But of the teams that we've seen play, I tell you what, I tell you the most dangerous team, that's the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears is the most dangerous team. I tell you why. They don't care. They don't care. They never feel like they're out of it. And that's a dangerous place to be on the opposite side of. If you watch that Green Bay
You lucky
Chicago
I ain't
game,
near you. You lucky I ain't near you, man. I hit you upside your head with them headphones on.
I'm letting you know, man. I'm just giving you my assessment.
He a Patriot fan, so you have to excuse him. He a Patriot fan.
Man, woo. Well, I mean, hey. Look, Drake May has an excellent opportunity to bounce back. Okay, he has an excellent opportunity to bounce back. But he's going to have to bounce back with 4 defensive linemen.
But he can run. He can run.
I'll tell you that.
He can run.
He better be able to run. He better be able to get on out of there. Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, Rankins, man.
Oh, I can't wait till you come on next week.
I can't
wait till you come on next week. I'm letting you know. You better recognize some greatness right now. That's the MVP. MVP.
No. They're going to get that to Matthew Stafford, man. They're going to give that to Matthew Stafford.
I'm not buying into the Patriots as well, man. I just, you know what? I don't know about them. When you look at the Buffalo Bills going into Denver, that's going to be a challenge right there. Do you see this Buffalo?
Hey, I gotta go. I don't want to hear no more about nothing. I'm out. Hey, next week I'll check you out.
Next week, absolutely, Rick. All right.
Salute, baby. Hey, Gerald, have a nice day.
If the finger wasn't crooked, I think I'd tell you so.
Well, you know why it's crooked, you bum. All right, love you, boy. Talk to you later.
Even before I let you get on out of here, before we let you get on out of here, Ephraim, when we're talking about that, you talked about the fact is that not knowing what the Seattle Seahawks. But when you look at a team like Buffalo, and I mean, when we talk about the Seattle Seahawks, and we also talked about the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
Josh Allen, it's going to be a tough sledding right here. If they're able to get past them, will you see this as being perhaps maybe the best opportunity when you look at the Buffalo Bills?
It will be. This is it. Josh Allen has to do it this year, or we start putting him in the other category. All right? There is no Patrick Mahomes. There is no Joe Burrow. There is no Lamar Jackson. He's been at the top of the league with those guys. And so if he can't do it this year, then we have to start talking about him as a talent, but we move him into another category of someone who just couldn't quite get over the hump.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. And you know what? Also, a couple more I want to get before we let you get on out of here. When you look at a team like the Los Angeles Chargers, and Ephraim, I get it, offensive line, that's your area of expertise, your forte. I understand the offensive line, banged up, everything. But you know
Not
what?
banged up. They didn't have one.
I understand that, Ephraim. But you know what? Damn it, I just got to say it. When I look back from their history, you go back from when they were in San Diego, when LaDainian and Phillip Rivers.
I get it. Yeah.
Go back even further with Dan Fouts, Kellen Winslow. They always seem like they shrunk when the big moments. I don't know what is in their system, and it just doesn't pan out. What is the problem with the Chargers when you talk about what is the problem? Ephraim? School me and educate me on this, good brother.
Number one, there's not a real big problem. They got Harbaugh in there. They got the right coach. Justin Herbert is the guy. You got to remember, Justin Herbert spent his first 4 years of his career with a coach who was inept, who he had no business being a coach, and he still has more passing yards in his first 6 years in the league than any other quarterback ever to play. Think about that. That's Peyton Manning. That's Drew Brees. That's Tom Brady. That's Aaron Rodgers. He has more passing yards than all of those in his first 6 years. He's that prolific of a passer. Now, you can't do what you're supposed to do without an offensive line. They lost both tackles, both backup tackles. And they had guys in there playing that had no business even being on a football field. I don't ask Patrick Mahomes. You can't be what you want to be and be proficient when you're under siege. And with that, I gotta go. I got another radio hit at 4:30. Jeff, man, this has been amazing, brother. I appreciate it.
Definitely appreciate the time, man. All the best. Look forward to talking real soon.
Absolutely, brother.
Be well. Ephraim Salaam, one of the best in the business, right here on the Bottom Line Sports Show. So I'm solo dolo, and you know what? Hey, gonna close it out with a couple of things that I gotta make sure I touch on in regards to the thing of, with Mike Tomlin. I thought that was amazing. I think I'm still in shock just simply because the fact is, for him to step down after losing in the fashion and the manner they did yesterday was very surprising. Now, this happens and can help twofold, because I think clearly he doesn't want to delay the Steelers, nor do the Steelers want to delay being able to get a quality coach. Because guess what? Now that changes the landscape of a lot of these coaches wanting to go to certain teams. And now you're looking at an opportunity to go to a team like the organization of the Steelers. Look, they don't have a quarterback. That's the case. They don't have a quarterback. But they are such a solid team and organization that you're going to go in there. They're not going to make any knee-jerk reactions. They've only had 4 head coaches in their history. If I'm not mistaken, it's Chuck Noll, 4 head coaches, 3 to 4 head coaches. So them hiring their 4th head coach will be interesting, So I really look at it. And then, like I said before, the team that really, really needs Mike Tomlin, plain and simple, is, I think, the Raiders. Look, the Raiders got rid of their head coach and Pete Carroll after 1 year. Now, Pete Carroll won a Super Bowl. Well-known success in USC, did a phenomenal job with the Seattle Seahawks. But that was just really such a heavy lift, especially coming in there with Geno Smith. And no disrespect to Geno Smith, but Geno Smith was the bridge quarterback, which I still believe they're going to need that moving forward. But the biggest thing is, when I look at them now, and you look at the way that the Steelers are now in Las Vegas, they got money. That is money. And you're talking about the challenges that this organization has faced in all the years since Tom Flores, John Gruden, some of these coaches that had success there. It's been a heavy, heavy lift for this franchise. And if you're able to get in Mike Tomlin, a leader of men, that's going to be able to sit with John Spytek and construct and diagram and develop and put together that organization, change will be great for the Vegas Raiders if they're able to get him. Because now that would even more so heighten the value, the interest of the Las Vegas Raiders. And look, you got the number 1 pick. You're going to have Mike Tomlin teach some defense. That's going to be good. But the thing is, too, they're going to have to work out some type of compensation package. Probably going to be some draft picks, maybe some money to get to the Steelers because he still had 2 years on his deal. So, if I'm Tom Brady and I'm the Raiders and Mark Davis, the owner, You got to open up the checkbook and say, look, if John Harbaugh is getting 20, give him 22, 25. I think that'll be the biggest thing. And the biggest thing with that is him going in there and being able to say, this is how I want it done. And I think there's clearly two guys in that coaching carousel that are basically the guys that will dictate who they want in that front office to work with. And it's not the other way around where a GM is going to pick the guy that they want to work with. No, Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh are going to pick the guys that they want to, and best believe both of them will get paid. The next question will be is, does Mike Tomlin want to take some time off? You know, to be there 19 years. It's a lot. And the emotion. And I'm very curious to see how much of the emotion that he will still have from just, you know, I would call it a knee-jerk reaction, but, you know, like Ephraim Salaam said, maybe it was made and this decision was already in place before the game, which I think about it now, that would be very hard pressed, because what if they would have came out and won and would have won this game going away? They were at home, all this stuff. I don't think the Steelers do business like that. That if you win regardless, we know that inevitably this is going to happen. What if they would have went on a Super Bowl run and got to the Super Bowl? Forget about losing. What if they would have got to the Super Bowl? And you had this in place? They don't do business like that. They do not. I would be totally shocked. This is the raw emotion that, you know, again, the human side of being a coach and being an NFL coach. After that, it was an ugly, ugly loss. And if you go back to when Tom Brady left the New England Patriots, remember the loss that they had in that game and way he played and stuff against the Titans, I believe it was. It was just ugly. And it was time to go. So, again, he didn't wait for the handwriting on to be pushed out, because like Ephraim said, they don't do stuff like that. Before I get out of here, I got to get up on something that will be what we do with the Bottom Line Sports Show. You know, Rick was there. Rick is here. Gonna have a lot of guests, man. And, you know, as I said before, it was an amazing run. I'm still with Sirius XM on different platforms, on Mad Dog Sports Radio, still on the NBA channel. But you know what? This is the home for the Bottom Line Sports Show. One of the things you're going to always get from us here at the Bottom Line Sports Show is raw, real, and you know what? Some great, interesting facts. We're going to give you knowledge, and it's going to keep it real. Now, I'm bringing my soapbox because I need it. I need this soapbox to be in a space where, yeah, Rick will probably try to get me off my soapbox. But in closing, I got to say this, and this is why I've gotten to this point. We're going to talk NBA. We talk NBA, you know, on the Bottom Line Sports Show on Sirius XM, but we covering all sports because, again, we sports fans. I got to say this because I'm on my soapbox to just plain and simple and say why we need to stop, or those that decide to call Luka Doncic a superstar. We need to stop this. If he's going to be a superstar, then we're lowering the standards and the bar of what a superstar is truly and what a guy that has superstar talent may be. Now, granted, some of your greatest scorers and some of your greatest players were never, you know, proficient on defense and all this other stuff. They were never that, right? Appreciate you, Doc. You know, they were never that defensively, a defensive stopper. I guess that's what made guys like a Michael Jordan so great, because he was able to give you on the offensive side as well as on the defensive side. And I'm not going to get into this whole debate about who's better, LeBron, Mike. I know, I love Mike. Mike is the GOAT. However, again, Luka Doncic, we got to stop this, because what we're witnessing in his game, we're eliminating the fact is how egregious and bad he looks on the defensive side of the ball. And it's overlooked because we give him a pass because he's able to go out and get 30, 35. He gets you those numbers. But what we're starting to see is clearly how much of an impact he has really on winning. You're going to win a championship, you're going to have defense played. Because at the end of the day, if you get a team and you score 30, you have a player score 30 and he scores 30 and stuff like that, it's a wash. Defense will be the key. And the biggest thing is that we're kind of, in a sense, some people are overlooking it and acknowledging him as a superstar. Now, I'll give the Lakers credit. They're going to have to get some pieces around him to be able to support his lack of defensive abilities. And I don't even really want to say that. I think it clearly just comes down to a fact is I don't really see a concerted effort on the part of Luka Doncic to make a defensive stand. Now, I don't want to hear this about in the playoffs, he'll give you this and that. No, you can't turn it on and off like a light. Because, again, the greats, they show up. They show up and you make stops. Perfect example. The Lakers lost to the Sacramento Kings on the road. Luka Doncic had about 35. I think it's 35, 36. He gave up 32 points to DeMar DeRozan, who missed 5 shots, 14 of 19 from the field. And at some point, you got to make a defensive stop. And it just comes down to the desire, the willingness. It's almost like it's sort of glossed over in terms of him playing defense. And at the end of the day, if you're not going to make an effort there, we need to start at least acknowledge the fact is he can be a superstar talent, a proficient scorer, but he's not a great player. I'm not giving him that. I'm not giving him that at all. And you know what? That's my soapbox moment. I can't do it no better at all. And you know, with that being said, I'm out of here like swimwear. Like to thank everybody that tuned in. Big shout out to Ephraim Salaam. You saw the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. Pause. My man Rick Mahorn. We're going to do this every week. Enjoy the NFL playoffs, the college football playoffs. We still going to be talking about that, as well as what's going on in the NBA. We just getting started. Bottom Line Sports Show is out. Have a great one. What do we say? Peace. Yeah. Peace.